So today's review is for a fragrance that I've been looking forward to for a while, which is Amouage Jubilation Xxv for women. Usually the men's version gets more attention, but this one is for women. And so it came out in 2007, so not super new, but still relatively modern. So I'm going to give it a try. It's primarily an amber fragrance, so we'll see how ambery it is here. Ooh. The thing I like about this immediately is that, at least to me, it kind of has more of a classic smell to it. Kind of, more like, again, classic, maybe a little vintage. Kind of reminds me a little bit, right off the bat, of Chanel No. 5. But there is a little difference, a little bit of sweetness in there. So there's not too many notes. The top notes are ylang ylang, rose, tarragon, and lemon. So the lemon opening isn't really too strong. It's not like a big burst of citrus or anything. I would say, more than anything, probably the ylang ylang is definitely the most prominent in the opening. It has that certain floral sweetness, but it's kind of different from your typical florals. The rose, I would also say not too strong. It's definitely there, but behind the other notes. Then going straight into the middle notes, you immediately run into incense, more rose, labdanum, and amnesia. So in general, this is a very kind of natural smelling sort of fragrance. It's definitely, you get all those florals, but at the same time, there's this more muskiness, this warmth to it, which I quite like. It makes it, gives it this certain texture, this character to it as well. Then, and it really warms up really quickly. It stays in those top notes for a brief period before it really settles down into the heavier notes. Now, the incense I would definitely say is pretty prominent. You could definitely smell that certain smokiness, that kind of exotic tone to it. Along with the labdanum, it kind of has that thick, heavy tone to it as well. Again, the rose is a little bit faint here. It adds a touch of sweetness. It's a little bit cold. But then the base notes is where it's really at. You're getting myrrh, amber, patchouli, vetiver, and musk. So already, it hasn't even been on my skin for that long, but already it is very warm and very resinous. And that contrasts really, really nicely with the florals that it has. So the myrrh and the amber obviously are the two main resins here. I would say they're both equally strong. They both have that really exotic, slightly smoky, just thick, heavy nature to them. And that makes it really warm, really heavy. This is definitely a powerful fragrance, stronger than I was expecting it to be. Then coming in with the patchouli, that's also a really strong note right now. It has that very kind of earthy, natural green scent to it. Along with the vetiver, I would say the musk itself, just alone, is not really contributing much to this because just the resins alone are doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this fragrance overall. It's definitely kind of a dance between the myrrh and the amber, and then some of the florals, probably mostly the ylang ylang and the rose. But because you're getting this really heavy, sort of earthiness of the resins, contrasting with the obviously sweeter florals, which is quite nice because, one or the other, it can be a little bit too much. But when you combine them, they're definitely more balanced out, they're more interesting. There's this push and pull of the two different scents. Now, I would say overall, it's kind of perfectly in between sweet and resinous. It doesn't go too much in any direction. It's more like right in the middle. Now, in terms of the performance, the longevity, projection, things like that, this is definitely a strong fragrance, but not too crazy. I wouldn't say this is like a beast mode, like crazy projection sort of fragrance. This is more moderate. in terms of projection. It's still definitely noticeable, but again, not too crazy, which I actually like because, you know, it's not like too in your face or anything. It's very smooth, actually. Now, in terms of longevity, this has definite staying power, but just more on the mild side. Again, it's not one of those super projectors. So longevity is probably 6 to 7 hours. Nothing crazy, but definitely a good daytime fragrance, a good evening fragrance. It's one of those ones that can easily be used for pretty much any occasion, you know, daytime, evening. Now, I will say, because it is definitely on the warmer side, because of those resins, it's leaning a little bit more towards being a kind of cold weather scent. But again, it's versatile enough where you could pretty much wear this year-round without any issues with this. Now, just in general, I think this is a really, really well-rounded fragrance. Again, it has that kind of classic feel to it. I mean, it is from 2007, so it's not super modern, but it's also not, I would consider it vintage. So it's kind of right in the middle. But I would say it's definitely more reminiscent of fragrances from the 1920s or 1930s, like old style, which I personally like because I love vintage fragrances, but definitely it's kind of in the line of Chanel No. 5, and that sort of kind of tone where you have these sweet florals contrasted with these really heavy resins and smoky notes and things like that. So that's actually quite nice. I think it's a very elegant fragrance for that reason. Kind of more on the mature and sophisticated side. Definitely nice for going out for like date night, going out for dinner, to the movies, or, you know, museums, wherever you plan on going for the evening. Very, very elegant fragrance here. And in general, I mean, it's a high quality fragrance as well. Amouage, they're known for making, you know, very high quality fragrances, just in general. Now, again, this is the women's version, and I am very curious about the men's version, which I have not tried yet, but I believe it's somewhat similar. But, you know, there's always some differences, so I'll probably end up trying the men's version at some point and see how it compares to the women's version. But this one I like because it's not too crazy sweet. A lot of women's fragrances these days go, you know, full on for the sweetness, like La Vie est Belle or Mugler's Angel, you know, that really, really sugary sweet sort of stuff. But this I like. It's a natural floral sweetness, again, contrasted with the heavier resins and the incense and musk and things like that. So very nicely balanced fragrance. But that is pretty much all I have to say for Amouage Jubilation 25 for women. Hopefully you found this video helpful. And if you did, of course, leave a like and maybe subscribe. And I make videos about this, and I make videos about fragrances throughout the week, so don't forget about those.